So I unplugged it and plugged it back in, and that managed to work. So we take those. But the only bad thing is that the fuck? Holy shit. He's huge. Go down, please. There you go. Hey, boss bliss, can I have the pussy bliss? Fuck, that thing is big. Hey, boss. Hey, boss bliss. No, now you guys should be able to hear me, right? It's based.
104 degrees Fahrenheit and via
Um, yeah. I don't want to start this whole video over, but what I was saying before I checked that my fucking mic was on, fucking dumb. Was that you know that a little kid made this because if all brain activities fucking shut off, then there's no real way to kill anything because there's nothing to kill. Because the only reason we're alive is because we have brain activity. Even with zombies, they have brain activity. That's how they know what to go after. Unless you're going for like a full like weird pseudo legendary thing where it's like you have to destroy the entire body. Which would be a lot they're making fun of baseball carrying base. Um fuck what I was saying? I was talking to myself the whole fucking time. Fuck, no wonder I was able to fucking talk. Holy shit. Let me just get kicking soon. I already said OBS, so hopefully the bitrate shit's good now. I'm getting 3 bars. I lost 2 viewers, so I'm actually gonna rope max. RIP. See the bitrate. Like, yeah, the bitrate's better. Hell yeah. Alright, cool. That fixed everything. Not only can I wait. Alright, cool. That fixed it. Yeah. Not only can I hear myself fucking talk, you guys can hear me talk. What the fuck was I gonna say? I don't know. Doing good. Stuff is being done. Things and stuff. What the fuck was this? Yeah. Everything's working now. Hopefully, maybe, possibly. Please, please, God. I mean, I see my little dude lighting up. I see the mic thing lighting up. So yeah, it should be fine. But yeah, this is kind of like zombies. Oh yeah, I was also saying that whatchamacallit. If Skynet is fucking real, I'm going to fuck it in the ass. No, but I was just saying now there wouldn't be like indiscriminate military fire. They just zone off sections and tell you to move to a different one, and they'll try to like help you, check you out. If you got bitten or scratched or anything, they'd probably just dome you on the spot. But then again, since these zombies don't have brain activities, like there's not much you can do. You gotta get fucked. E. All right, let's keep doing this.
Violent, bloody coughing. If you see the same person show any of the following degrees Fahrenheit and violent, bloody coughing.
Flesh. I'll consume all flesh.
If you see the same person show any of the following symptoms shortly after the previous symptoms, either evacuate the area or neutralize them immediately. Acute strokes, severe internal bleeding, bleeding from the eyes, nose, and they will attack and kill you. The government no longer recognizes the infected as human beings. They are recognized as hostile entities seeking genocide on the human race. There is no repercussion for using lethal force on the infected.
Would genocide work there? 'Cause I'm pretty sure it's just a certain ethnic group, no? Or just a certain group of individuals, huh? Unless humans are concerned. Was erratic. Humans be considered genocide. Genocide. Under international law, the eradication of all human beings will not be considered a genocide. A specific legal definition of genocide requires the intent to destroy a specific national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, not humanity as a whole. All right, yeah, these are word wrong. Fuck you. That's what we do, baby. We correct them.
All U.S. firearm restrictions are now suspended.
Ah, damn, hell yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm moving to the black belt. That actually fucking happens. What do you mean? Whoo! I may not let them Trump supporters, but shit, is zombies coming in this bitch? Y'all already know I'm gonna go over there and be like, hey, and that, how about that Trump failure? Hey, how about you give me one damn fully automatic ARs you got? God. I had an idea for a damn a zombie movie that would take place in the United States. And it'd be like a typical zombie movie that there's like fucking like it gets overrun. Like it starts probably like in California and then slowly starts to spread. But then like once it gets to like the middle of America, like the Rust Belt, it'd just be like people with guns and shit, and then just like go out, start fucking mowing them, shooting them down and shit. And and then at the end, instead of paying a tribute to all the people that they died, it's all the guns that they had to leave behind. And it'd be like people holding like random guns like AR, Sally would be missed, and just like a bunch of like typical looking like rednecks just crying over them. And it was just I barely polished that damn barrel. I barely took it out of the swing. It was young. That gun's been in my family for 35 generations. And it'd just be like a fucking like a regular AR. I think that'd be funny. That'd be my type of humor. But I'd have him like have like it kind of be like John Wick with the gunplay, just with zombies. So it'd hopefully be like accurate and shit. And then they just go down to like the specifications and what like augments they did to the gun. And I think that'd be hilarious. Just like as a final thing, they like do a standoff, but it's just like one fucking zombie just like right there. And then they pretty much eradicated the entirety of the zombie outbreak. But they just love using the gun so much that they just fucking just like lay down on them. On just one fucking zombie, just like already crawling on the floor, and all you see like a million shots go off, and then just a random RPG. And like that'd be like my type of comedy, which it probably wouldn't be that funny, but to me it'd be fucking hilarious. Just a damn shambler getting fucking destroyed by bullets and gunfire. Like I don't want the damn denizen. I want an actual like crawling zombie. There we go. Oh, like imagine seeing that shambling towards you, and just like an absolute gun volley of like chainsaws, fucking ARs, fucking AKs, a random RPG, all just gunning down this little bastard. I think the absurdity in that would be hilarious. Let's do that.
All citizens aged 13 and older are permitted to carry and use any weapon for self-defense,
yeah.
including previously restricted firearms and attachments. There will be no...
We surviving, boys. We surviving. As soon as they let us go full auto, oof. You already know them rednecks gonna be running around. Somehow they're gonna get a fucking AC 130 and just all you're gonna hear. Oh, why the fuck am I trying to make the noise? I have the power of the internet right here. AC 130. Fuck. AC 130. Firing. Oh, no damn son of a bitches are gonna hear this.
Immediate prosecution, you are clear to
Fuck.
engage.
That's gonna be them hillbillies somewhere. God damn, dude. To think that the same people that make your fucking laundry, like fucking, what the fuck are they called? Not laundromats. Washing machines make these bad boys. Like, holy fuck, that'd be so cool. I hear that this is completely terrible for your fucking ears, but by God, is it so fucking cool to look at. Would it be cool to be in in an actual war? Fuck no, it'd be scary as fuck. That's so cool.
Requesting match sparkle, sir.
810 Warhog. This is gonna be them random hill folk out of nowhere.
Registration. No prosecution. No questions. Stay tuned.
Nah, that's a face.
Warning.
What, you want some dick?
Warning. The United States government has issued an evacuation immediate to all citizens. A national emergency is in effect. This is not a test. The infected are gathered in very large groups in cities and urban areas. The United States military has evacuated from city and urban zones. If you are in a city or urban zone, it is highly advised you leave immediately.
Shit!
The infected seem to be getting smarter.
And they will find you.
And they will find you.
Once you are out of city or urban areas, the military may mistake you for infected once you enter a military zone.
Hard.
To avoid being
They won't even let you get a moment's rest. They will be inside of you. You will like it, but they won't even cuddle after they are done. They will just complete, smoke a cigarette, and then leave. It will be
the most pleasurable, but the most unloving and untrustworthy thing that you've ever done.
Mistaken as infected, carry an American flag of any size on you. Any color flag or cloth will also do.
I can carry U.S. flag. Fuck yeah, brother.
Military personnel are required to fire warning shots. When you hear or see a warning shot, wave your flag to indicate you are not infected. If you fail to wave a flag, you will be shot. Use back roads as much as possible. Avoid major highways at all costs. And under no circumstances should you travel at
Alright, the used quiet vehicles. Oh my god, them fucking Priuses and Teslas, they're fucking silent, dude. Like, holy fuck. I almost got run over by one the other day. I couldn't even fucking hear it coming through.
night.
I heard a little
Travel tips.
I like
Use
back,
high
it's like
clearance
right up my
vehicles.
asshole. By
The
fucking
quieter the
wreck me.
vehicle, the better. Be advised that roads
Fuck
are
the
blocked
bit where
with
you went back
abandoned
down.
cars and debris. Bring enough food and clean water to last at least 14 days.
Eat off
Do
weekend.
not use tunnels or underground routes. Infected are congregating in those spaces. Within the next 7 days, military forces will begin targeted strikes against infected city and urban zones using air-to-ground bombardment. These operations are intended to eliminate high-density infection clusters and slow the spread of SIV-24. If the population of residents in your city or
Nuclear strike inbound and all this is fucking. Huh? Oh, we're all gonna die to zombies then. It's fucking base. What about your booty hole? Oh. I don't know that I'm gonna get fucked in it.
urban area was
By these
over
damn things?
100,000 residents, you are likely in a heavily infected zone. Stay tuned. Warning. The United States government has issued a civil emergency message to all citizens. This is not a test. As of this broadcast, the federal government is no longer operational.
Damn, they got the feds.
Many military evacuation centers have gone silent. If your local or state government has fallen
Hell
or
yeah.
falls in the future, there is no further help coming. You must assume full responsibility for your safety and survival. If you are uninfected, stay low, stay quiet, stay alive. Pray to God for your protection.
You no longer use your base. Austin 516. Amen. Is that it? Based. Alright, I might regret this for this. Look at Instagram shit. Nah, I guess they're fucking racist. Let's just scroll on the YouTube shorts, see what the fuck's going on.
How far do you have to be to not disturb the neighbors while using canned platforms versus regular ones using standard ammunition?
Damn, this fucker sounds like a damn AI but fucking voice.
How far do you have to be to not disturb
So far, they say do not disturb the neighbors.
the neighbors while using canned platforms versus regular ones using standard ammunition?
Standing right next to the shooters with the can. No can.
It's just a YouTube short. Just testing out suppressors and see if they actually work. Or how far
There's a
they have
slight
to be.
difference, but doesn't really matter at this
Because they're using regular bullets instead of subsonic bullets.
distance. They're about 100 meters behind me, and let's see what we can hear. Suppressed rifle. 300
Applause.
meters away. "400 meters away. And keep in mind, this is 400 meters away, suppressed pistol. So if you're watching Hollywood movies and they're shooting close range with suppressors, then that's super unrealistic that you won't be able to hear it. If you're in the next room, you're probably gonna lose some hearing. 500 meters away. "600 meters.
It's crazy how you can still fucking hear 'em.
So from 600 meters, didn't really change that much from 400 to 600. I can still clearly hear them. And keep in mind, they're not shooting towards us. It's the other way. So their muzzles are pointed that way. The bullets are flying that way. And 600 meters away, suppressed, I can still easily hear them. Suppressors aren't that good if you're not using subsonic ammo. So keep in mind.
How far do you have to
Could a concrete highway barrier stop a bullet? I'm gonna shoot this
How's it
2,000-pound
going,
highway
Elf?
barrier with higher and higher caliber bullets all the way up to a 50 cal and see what it can stop. Good luck, Fred. First up, 9 mil.
You leave? Life. Life X.
All right, 9 mil hit right here. Took out a tiny chunk, but didn't do much. Fred's fine back there. Next up, 22 arc. Firing. All right, 22 arc hit right here. Took out a pretty big chunk, but it did not go through. Fred's still fine. Moving up to our Mark 18. Shooting around a 5.56.
I mean, I don't think anything other than a fucking like a 50 cal round would be able to go through a concrete barrier, but I could be fucking wrong. I don't even think 50 cal could go through it
All right,
unless you hit the
5.56
same
hit
spot
right here.
over and
Took out a
over
little
again.
chunk, but didn't do much. Fred's still untouched back there.
Think-
Next up, 6.5 Creedmoor. All right, here we go. Firing.
No, because 50 cal's anti-tank, I think. If I remember correctly.
6.5 Creedmoor hit right here. Took a big chunk out of the concrete, but didn't go through. Fred's untouched. Next up, we got the 308. 308 hit right here. Biggest hole yet, but did not come through.
I'm surprised the
Fred's still
308
fine.
did that much
Moving up
damage.
to around
Holy
a 460
fuck.
Magnum. All right, 460 Magnum hit right here. Took a big chunk out, but still didn't come out the other side. Moving up to the 50 cal. Hang on, Fred.
Yeah, it's gonna go through.
Fred. Our 50 cal came in right here. It went super deep into the concrete. And the back is cracked, but it did not go through.
Oh
Fred's
shit.
still safe. Moving up to a second round of 50 cal, see if that'll punch through.
Yeah, probably. No, it didn't. Well, at least it doesn't seem like it
All right,
did.
the second shot of 50 cal hit right here. Took an even bigger chunk out of the front. The back is really starting to crack, but it still stopped it. All right, I'm gonna hit it one more time with the 50 cal round. See if
No,
it'll make
now
it all
for
the way
sure it's
through.
gonna fucking crack, dude. You already see the damage that you did. Yeah, you got it.
All right, our
And
third
every
round of
test is
50 cal
super
came
right
in
now.
right here.
Really?
And it came all the way
That was
out
mine.
the other
I think the
side.
power
and
went
put it
out.
into Fred. Could a concrete high... All right, our third round of 50 cal came in right here. And it came all the way out the other side and put an end to Fred.
Now, imagine thinking you're the shit because you own a Draco only for people to find out it's in California. Yeah, story of my life. So what's the big difference between a regular Draco and a California compliant AK pistol? For starters, it has to run a comp mag. You're probably wondering what the hell is that? Well, it's basically a fixed magazine that doesn't drop when you hit the mag release. So you're probably wondering, how do you reload then? Well, that's the funny thing. You don't. At least not in the traditional sense. Instead, you have to load rounds one by one through this little side latch until you hit the max capacity of 10 rounds. After that, you hit the little release spring, which pushes the rounds up, ready to be chambered. And I guess the only thing that hasn't been nerfed yet is the recoil, making the Draco pretty much useless in this configuration. So I do have plans to remove a lot of the standard furniture and making this pistol as effective and accurately as it possibly can be. Now, imagine thinking you're the
Dude, It hasn't rained in like 2 weeks. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Cut open a man's chest and rip out his still beating heart?
Bingo.
Hey, Chico Tencado, I bet you 5 cocoa beans you won't stand on top of this pyramid with your eyes closed for like 10 seconds. I'm coming up! I'll be there in 15 minutes! Do you think he'll be mad when we eviscerate him?
Nah, he'll get it.
It's just so dry.
I know, right? It's just been
So dry. Yeah.
It'll break the barrier.
I mean,
for sure.
Me
But
personally,
it's like 3 shots.
I wouldn't be thrilled.
honestly good for the guys who get the honorable afterlife in the sun god's army and everything. But I just prefer pottery.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
What the fuck is a horse, dude?
Why do Americans put the month first? It just makes no sense. We put the month first because in conversation we say July 1st, 2015 because it's quicker than the 1st of July, 2015. Tomorrow is May 29th, not tomorrow is the 29th of May. That is why we write it 5/29/15 and not 29/5/15 because we go by how we phrase it in conversation rather than in sequence because it converts better between numbers and language when written in the former. We also use the month first because that's how calendars are organized. You have 1 year and 1 calendar, so the year is a constant and can go in the back. However, calendars are not organized by days, but rather by months. You flip to the months first and then find the day. So while on this topic, we also use Fahrenheit and not Celsius because a 0 to 100 scale of measuring temperature makes a lot more sense to a human. We know that 0 is really f***ing cold and 100 is really f***ing hot, which makes sense. Celsius, however, is just about how water responds to temperature and makes no sense when applied to humans. Fahrenheit is for people, Celsius is for water, and I am a people, not a water. Oh, I find this very funny because you say that, but your Independence Day is not called July 4th. It is called the 4th of July. Why do Americans put the month?
They got us there.
On your knees! Get on your knees!
No.
The boy and the bot, where are they? Bot sighted!
Hello.
On your knees!
Yes.
Rebel apprehended!
Well done, you're really, really good at this.
Oh, thank you.
Love you.
I love you too.
What?
Where's the boy? Where's the boy? Respond! Say something! Do it now! She's not saying anything. It's a silent treatment. Prepare for counterattack. Initiating silent treatment counterattack.
Counterattack ineffective.
Switch tactics. Prepare to fire! Preparing!
Tell you what, you better get a kill shot, because bullet wounds make me real angry.
Probably. Either that or it's me. It could also be me because my bit rate's fucking low as shit right now. Heck, I stopped watching that video like years ago. Oh, you just reset your modem. No, I don't think it might. I don't think it's that. I think it might be me. Ah, poor internet detected wired. Yeah, I think it's just on my side. Well, you probably won't even fucking hear this actually. Let me just turn off that. That helps a little bit. Do something on the side. Testing download. It's the upload speed that I want to test. And for some reason, my upload speed's fucking ass right now. Oh, go increase upload speed. I think I already am doing that. Check. Network. Wi-Fi, Ethernet connected. Let me set up again. I think I have unlimited data. Holy fuck.
Make him drink.
Why do Americans put the month first? It just makes no sense. We put
Weird. 52. I'm gonna check out stream is going over here. It's fine on YouTube. It's just fucking Twitch and stream that are being weird for some fucking reason. Fuck it. Just turn them off. See if that helps a little bit. Because my bit rate is fine. I don't know why they're tripping balls. Tripping testicles right now. Yeah, the bit rate's still fucking. How could I fix it? Yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do for that. Yeah.
I might slide up to your block with intelligence. I'm a genius with a Glock, there's some relevance. I might slide up to your block with intelligence.
Wait a second, that's for real. God, this is a throwback and a half. That's like 7th and 8th grade. No, 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade right there. Golly, this fucking smart board. Damn. Damn.
There's nothing I'd rather do.
Fuck.
Fuck, shit, no!
I saw you said it live, bro. Yeah, we in the group chat, man. Damn. Shit. I sent that 20 minutes ago for real. Yeah, that shit's fucking slow as fuck. It's fine on YouTube, but on fucking Twitch and shit, it's fucking slow. Cause I'm responding to you as soon as I get the message, but because I don't know, my connection's slow, I guess, or unstable. It just.
I couldn't have saved Lois without your help. I'm aware of that.
Abracadabra, my bitch way better. My wrist like the muscles are better. Fish per K, I smoke on the face. Green diamonds, I fucked up my bladder. Motherfucker trend, I've been with my kids in the spot.
I couldn't have saved Lois.
Okay, but where's the positivity?
During the Battle of Fallujah, the Marines got so many headshots that the United States military had to launch an internal investigation because they were concerned that the Marines may have been executing people at point blank. They weren't. They were just out there giving long-range lobotomies at a rate that the American government didn't know was possible, which adds even more to the psychological warfare aspect. I mean, how would you feel if you had to go up against a military force that you knew was under investigation for getting too many headshots? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say not great. I think Eleanor Roosevelt said it best when she said, and I quote, "The Marines I have seen around the world have the cleanest bodies and the filthiest minds, the highest morale and the lowest morals. Thank God for the United States Marine Corps." And while I wasn't there, I'm willing to bet of the Marines that heard it, at least one of them leaned over to his buddy and said, "I'd hit that." During the Battle of Fallujah, the Marine...
Ma, come here, look.
What,
Look
Jay?
at this stupid filter fish.
Well, I hope it don't smell like your ex, Jay.
Ma, I told you that in confidence. Her pH balance
Well,
was
tell her to fix it. It's not my problem.
Ma!
Stare at it for 10 seconds, you're gonna fall. Like, no way this shit true. It kinda look like.
Oh shit.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5
Why is he doing it for the
6
cameras and
Mississippi,
shit?
7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10, yeah.
Okay, but you have to look forward. You have to look closely there. Okay, cool. Okay, I think you might need it though. Your glasses.
Man needed a good. What's going on with nene bondeni?
You come out for 10 seconds.
Yes.
Does it actually fucking work, or are they just
Can
doing
they
a
pass 10
bit?
seconds? Why am I not falling? Can they pass 10 seconds? Why am I not falling?
If you shut up and let it work,
But
and just pay attention.
But tell that to shut up. I'm not falling.
Shit.
Ma, come here, look.
What?
He was cargo, and you guys going soft on him. You walked us right off the set. Yes, I did. Come on. And I'm going to do it again. No, this time I'm going to hit the same place we did last time. He was cargo, and you guys going soft on him. You walked us right off the set. Yes, I did. Come on. And I'm going to do it again. No, this time I'm going to hit the same place we did last time. He was cargo, and you guys going soft on him. You walked us right off the set. Yes, I did. Come on.
Damn. Damn.
别墅里面唱 K， 水池里面饮冷雨，我送阿叔茶去黑夜梦。
Those are red silver paper is called foil. Man breaks into Burger King and drinks gallons of deep frying oil. What the fuck?
1, 2, 3. Oh, God, son of a biscuit eater, that hurt. Ah, look at it. Boy, get on. It's not gonna hurt that much. No, it's okay. That's it. Oh.
Keep your head super straight right there, okay? Don't
Look at me.
cry. Deep breath. We're gonna count some stuff. 1, 2, all done.
Oh, that felt good. There is 1, 2. You did a great job. You were so good. No tears.
Damn.
Oh my God. Let's get you a mirror so you're cute.
You have African American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't. So say it. Say what? Say the word you want to say. I'm not saying that I want to say it, I'm just saying that I can't. So you can. Say it right now. I will say it with you.
Oh, this is hypocritical. You know we can't.
Say it. All right, I think we can move. You have...
Was cool. What the fuck? Hell yeah.
I want a baby. Change. I want your baby. Change. I want someone else's baby. Change. I want to adopt. Change. I don't want anything that is within IKEA. I hate it. This is for all the budget that we have. If you hadn't been fired, we might be able to afford something nicer. Don't be a bitch. Change. Be a bitch. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. It's gonna really help. It's gonna really help this, huh? We are not engaging in that sort of fun here in public. Change. All right.
She's a 10, but she wears glasses.
Still a 10.
Yeah?
Yeah, easy, still a 10. No way people discriminate against people with glasses.
Okay. She's a 10, but she's obsessed with her boss. She's obsessed with work. She's just got a good work ethic.
Oh yeah, 10.
She's a 10, but she doesn't speak English.
That may be a bit difficult. She can still be a 10 and not speak English.
Okay, so she's a
10.
Okay.
We speak Spanish, boy.
She's a 10, but she wears jeans and overalls 100% of the time.
Are you describing someone? She's a 10, but she wears jeans and overalls all the time.
Apart from, when they go to sleep, but in the day.
You're welcome, buddy. Yeah, my bad. Twitch is being, you won't hear this until 20 years later, but Twitch is being kind of weird right now. Oh, it's on Kick. Maybe? Is it on Kick? Yeah, it's on Kick, but there's this stuff. Hey, sorry. Having connection issues. Damn it, it's a bot. No, thank. Trying September 8th. Alright, yeah, they're bot. Fuck.
Tylko jedno w głowie mam, koksu 5 gram, odlecieć sam w krainę zapomnienia. W głowie myśli mam, kiedy skończy się ten stan, gdy już nie będę sam, bo wiedzie biały węgorz. Ja pierdolę, ale mam zjazd, nie chwyta gwiazd jak kłoda leżę. Nie wierzę, co się dzieje, jak kura z...
God, why is my bitrate so fucking low?
Do księżyca w głowie dziury, jak ulica przed twoją...
When are you streaming here on Kick? Come on, you gotta max it out, boy. Hell yeah. Nah, that's bullshit. You can do it. Yeah. You seem to be experienced. I'm just chilling over here watching.
Drop!
That's a mod. That's definitely a mod, bro. This is definitely a mod. This can
Dang.
be in my
No.
Get the Grammy, I'm a man. She my hero for a reason. I can tell her all my secrets. Cause I know she gon' keep them. Ain't nothing come between us. Get the Grammy, I'm a
Damn. Damn, we have all that. We just had duplication glitches and stuff.
What's the most embarrassing
Or a
thing you've ever
flashlight.
done in front of your crush? I'll go first. It was the day I got my very first phone, and I was so excited because this meant that I could FaceTime the girl I liked. So that's what I did. I typed in the number that the girl gave me, and I FaceTimed her, and it was awesome until my mom, who didn't know I was on FaceTime, walked into my room and said, "Hey Tyler, is your rash feeling better today?" But that's not even the embarrassing part, because after she said that, I was so embarrassed because the girl heard that, so I was like, "Shut up, Mom." But in my house, saying that to your parents is a big no-no. So my mom went into her room, grabbed my dad's belt, and started spanking me while I was on FaceTime with my
Damn.
crush. I was crying, and while I was getting spanked, I tried to hang up the FaceTime call numerous times, but I couldn't do it. I looked like this. "Mom, stop! Mom!" So she just saw the whole thing happen, and for the next week, I pretended to be sick so my mom wouldn't make me go to school because I was too embarrassed to ever see her again. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever done in front of your crush?
Well, I used to work on your VTuber overlay and stuff in years. Versus Ice, what the fuck?
The year is 2014, and ISIS is the largest terrorist organization in the modern world. Known for their series of devastating attacks, they are feared by both people and governments all around the globe. Through the power of the internet, they shared their propaganda and recruited vulnerable individuals from virtually every corner of the planet. However, at the height of their power, a group of hackers named Anonymous made it their mission to combat them and save innocent lives while doing so. From deadly explosions to trolling and exposing members of terrorist organizations, to 4chan Special Task Force being born, to even working with the FBI and counter-terrorists. This is the story of 4chan's fight against terrorism. Throughout the early 2010s, terrorist organizations began to harness the power of the internet, ramping up their recruitment by targeting vulnerable individuals in hopes they could manipulate them to do their bidding. They did this by launching campaigns across many social media platforms, such as Telegram, Ask.fm, Facebook, Instagram, and their most successful platform, Twitter. This website had become the centerpiece of ISIS recruitment efforts, as they could reach individuals
Your VTuber should be designed 3D. No, I'm I forgot that you won't be able to hear my reply immediately.
from all around the world, and Twitter had difficulty finding and banning all of their accounts. On top of this, it was much easier for them to hack Twitter accounts, giving the illusion that tons of regular people were joining ISIS. By doing this, they were able to trick more individuals than ever before to join their ranks. After wild successes in recruiting people from around the globe, this became a key component for not only ISIS, but terrorist organizations everywhere. It literally allowed them to passively gather soldiers from all around the world, and at the time, ISIS was gaining members at an alarming rate, indoctrinating people from the comfort of their own homes. It was clear that ISIS was quickly becoming a global organization, and only a few began to take notice. However, Western journalists began to document all of the strange pro-ISIS accounts that seemed to have sprung up on Twitter. After a thorough look, they found a whole network of sleeper agents throughout the entire platform. A lot of these accounts were spamming pro-ISIS religious propaganda across the internet. Of course, they found that most of these accounts belonged to real individuals and were hacked by the cyber terrorist divisions, which further reached every corner of social media sites.
The story of how a group that we'll refer to here as ISIS has been able to raise its profile and bolster its fighting ranks is due in large part to the scope and sophistication of its online media operations. ISIS appears to have 4 or possibly more main media outlets. These accounts can attract a few hundred to many thousands of followers. To further spread their Twitter posts, followers use popular hashtags like #WorldCup and USA, so their tweets end up on other Twitter feeds that will be potentially seen by millions of people not necessarily looking for jihadi content.
While governments worldwide did little to stop the spread of ISIS's online recruitment, people across the globe were falling into their trap, and it was clear that someone had to do something to combat it. But then, the unexpected would happen. 4chan's hacker group Anonymous would lose control of one of their Twitter accounts, and an ISIS hacker would tweet a pro-ISIS combat video depicting an assault near Baghdad. Quickly, Anonymous was able to regain control of the account, and they were absolutely furious with ISIS, so they decided to take matters into their own hands and released a video to the public.
To the citizens of the world, we are Anonymous. The events currently transpiring in Iraq have made us as a collective reevaluate our priorities in regards to recent operations. The Iraqi people have gone through almost 2 weeks of sheer terror most of us will never know nor experience. We are held by code of honor to protect those who are defenseless, both in the cyber world and the real world. These savages who have no religion or morality are bent on burning everything in their path, killing and pillaging as they go. They must be stopped. Several days ago, their electronic division assumed control of one of our Twitter accounts, claiming it for themselves and releasing several graphic photos of their assault near Baghdad. These tweets have since been deleted. We sincerely apologize to the Twitter followers who had to witness this without warning. To the state of Qatar, Turkey, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, you will not escape our wrath. Evidence shows your continued support and supply to ISIS. If this is not promptly stopped, we will be forced to unleash our entire legion against your pathetic excuse of a cybersecurity. And to the United States, another attempt at fueling your military-industrial complex for the sake of security and democracy will be grounds for our complete assault against your virtual government infrastructure. You have been warned. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
ISIS was quite literally everything that Anonymous hated in this world. From their extreme ideology to their mass killings of civilians, Anonymous knew that they had to do whatever they could to put an end to this madness. So they decided to begin their fight where ISIS gets their unseen strength, their recruitment. If Anonymous could put an end to ISIS's online recruitment, then they would lose their hidden global power. It would no longer have their steady flow of volunteer soldiers lurking inside countries around the world. Operation ISIS would then be born, and Anonymous would get to work systematically pursuing these social media accounts to take them down. When they found an account that was clearly compromised or had ISIS propaganda, they would then spam report it so that the moderators would see it and take it down. Anonymous also compiled a list of accounts with public so that more people than ever would be combining their forces to spam report all these propaganda accounts on social media. Because Anonymous has thousands of members from around the globe, the barrage of reports would quickly result in bans. On top of this, there were users looking for these accounts around the clock. As soon as the American Anons headed to sleep, the Europeans would get to work, then later, the Russians, and even Australians. It was literally a global movement. ISIS could barely keep up, and their army of propaganda accounts was rapidly depleting. From Twitter to Instagram to even Facebook, Anonymous was able to take down hundreds of thousands of these accounts, saving countless amounts of lives while doing so. Even though Operation...
That's crazy how just random people like on the internet are just like, you know what, this is bad, we're gonna do something about it, when the whole government's can't even do anything about it or didn't allocate any resources towards it. I truly believe that anonymous sources would do more to like a collective online would probably do more than the government when it comes on online terms and stuff.
Operation ISIS seemed to be going well. Everything would take a turn for the worst on the 7th of January, 2015. The time is 11:30 a.m. in Paris, France, and two masked individuals armed with automatic rifles would enter a building owned by the French magazine Charlie Hebdo. The gunmen opened fire on innocent civilians, injuring 11 and killing 12. After the gunmen fled the scene, a manhunt was launched to find them. It would take nearly 2 days, but with the help of Anonymous, French special forces were able to track them down, and after a long firefight, they were able to eliminate them successfully. However, during this time, the attack was followed by several others, creating mass panic and civil unrest in France. After police raided the homes of these attackers, they found out that they were terrorist foot soldiers recruited by ISIS. Along with this, they discovered that Charlie Hebdo was specifically targeted because some of the cartoons they released mocked ISIS religious beliefs. Even though it was just harmless jokes, ISIS thought differently and made many people within that organization pay with their lives. This created an uproar within France, and millions of people, along with 40 world leaders, would all come together for a vigil in honor of the dead. But it wasn't just that. It was a movement where people gathered in unity against ISIS. But these demonstrations not only occurred in France, they happened worldwide. Because of the attacks, Anonymous released another video.
Greetings, citizens of the world. We are Anonymous. Operation ISIS continues. First, we need to clarify a few things. We are Muslims, Christians, Jews. We are hackers, crackers, hacktivists, fishers, agents, spies, or just the guy from next door. We are students, administrators, workers, clerks, unemployed, rich, poor. We are young or old, gay or straight. We wear smart clothes or rugs. We are hedonists, ascetics, joyriders or activists. We come from all races, countries, religions, and ethnicity. United as one, divided by zero. We are anonymous. Remember, the terrorists that are calling themselves Islamic State, ISIS, are not Muslims.
Trying to
ISIS
blackmail me
will
is
hunt you,
crazy.
take down your sites, accounts, emails, and expose you. From now on, no safe place for you online. You will be treated like a virus, and we are the cure. We own the internet. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Leaders of Anonymous declared war on the violent Islamic extremists, and with people around the globe by their side, more people than ever were now fully committed to destroying any online presence ISIS had. So they continued to report and destroy accounts that had any association with these terrorists, and they were making some real progress. But some members of Anonymous wanted to take things to the next level, and they felt like they could do so much more. Really, the problem was that even though governments were good at launching complex attacks across the globe, they were virtually useless in managing ISIS's vast presence in cyberspace. One user in particular with a screen name of Sebastian Dante Alexander decided to gather some of Anonymous's hackers, who were extremely passionate about taking down ISIS, and even included some ex-members of the US military and former intelligence agents, along with IT and media professionals. They created a new hacker organization, which could also be seen as a subgroup within Anonymous, called GhostSec. This organization had one goal: to conduct open cyber warfare against the Islamic State and obliterate any other terrorist group online. Since GhostSec had specific goals to accomplish, and had a more organized structure than Anonymous, they were able to get a lot done in a short period. After hacking numerous social media accounts and intercepting intelligence, GhostSec was able to track down potential ISIS operatives. After they found these individuals, they would hand them over to the FBI or anti-terrorist organizations, who would take care of the rest. At one point, GhostSec even intercepted a terrorist plot in Tunisia, where they were planning a bombing in the Humat market, a crowded area where many locals and tourists visit. GhostSec ended up reporting them to intelligence operatives within the United States, and soon after, they were able to make 17 arrests, which extinguished their plan altogether. But this wasn't the only information GhostSec was able to recover. According to some of the communications they intercepted, there was to be a massive ISIS attack in New York City on the 4th of July, also known as US Independence Day, which was only a few days after the attack in Tunisia was meant to happen. Due to the secrecy behind this operation, details on what ISIS was planning are scarce. However, after receiving the information, the FBI apprehended over 10 people, ending their plot in New York City for the time being. Although GhostSec may have won the fight, ISIS told their followers to carry out any violence they could on behalf of their group. But luckily, there was nothing extreme that ended up happening after. In both cases, GhostSec communicated to a man named Michael Smith II, a counter-terrorist analyst who worked with government agencies to destroy violent extremism. This had one unforeseen effect. It established a real connection between GhostSec and the legal side of counterterrorism. Because of this, the face of GhostSec would eventually change into something almost entirely different. They were an organization that even without the unlimited resources government agencies had, they were still able to do the impossible and save countless amounts of lives in the process. And what would happen next would be one of the biggest tragedies that modern history has ever had to endure.
The usual din of a Paris Friday night was silenced first by gunshots. What followed was terrified confusion. How many dead and injured isn't clear yet, just that there are dead, many of them, where just a little earlier were people simply out. And quickly, it all began to point to what appears to be a calculated multi-target assault. They, whomever they might be, reportedly armed with Kalashnikovs and possibly grenades, and police now confirm included 2 suicide bombers.
On the 13th of November 2015, Paris experienced its most devastating terror attack in the country's history. A group of coordinated militants attacked multiple high-density areas, aiming to create as much destruction as possible. These devastating attacks became worldwide news, and countries all over the globe grieved with France. From President Barack Obama to even Vladimir Putin, almost every large country, despite their differences, came together in solidarity with France. Citizens would get involved as well, holding vigils in every main city around the world. It was clear France was at war, and many leaders of the world were willing to help put an end to this needless suffering. Because of all this, France, along with the United States and Russia, would then lead a multi-year bombing campaign in hopes they would destroy the group responsible for this. The Paris bombings not only angered Anonymous, but they were absolutely furious and willing to do anything it took to put an end to the radicalized ISIS for good, so they declared an all-out war.
Yesterday, Friday, November 13th, 2015, our country, France, was attacked in Paris at around 10 p.m. by multiple terrorist attempts claimed by the Islamic State. These attacks cannot remain unpunished, hence the reason why the Anonymous from all over the world will hunt you down. Yes, you vermin that are killing innocent people. We will track you down, as we have been able to do since the attacks of Charlie Hebdo. Therefore, be prepared for a massive reaction from Anonymous. Be advised that we will track you and will not let anything go. We are going to launch the biggest operation ever against you. Expect many cyber attacks. Know it. War has been declared.
This video would quickly get millions of views, and now Anonymous had users from around the world backing them up in the war. In a single day, they managed to take down over 5.5 thousand Twitter accounts, and they even leaked the personal information of countless terrorist sleeper agents. Most of these exposed individuals were instantly arrested and taken in for further questioning. Anonymous and GhostSec were slowly but surely eradicating ISIS just by using the power of
The worst lore in game. Let's see what this is about.
Lore and gaming go together hand in hand. There's something about having a good story or history tied to what you're playing that can make it infinitely more interesting. Good lore can elevate a game to a legendary status. Whether it's given through detailed evidence that gets the player more immersed in the game's world, or through cryptic clues that add fuel to their imagination, if you already enjoy a game and find out it has good lore behind it, chances are you'll enjoy it even more. But bad lore can make you not want to play a game at all, with Hello Neighbor being the best example. A game that's lore and story was terribly written and conveyed, forever staining the reputation of a once fairly anticipated game. The gameplay was bad too though. Lore is not necessary for a game to be good. There have been dozens of titles with no lore that have been amazing, and no one's going to hate a game for not including it. However, if a game does choose to include lore in its experience, it must be done right. Otherwise, you're better off not including it at all. Like a supplement, lore can serve to elevate its game, but if it's not thought out well, it can quickly pull the title down and affect people's perception of it. With shooters, lore is often conveyed through campaigns and PvE game modes. Just because your game is mostly online doesn't mean it has to have a bad story. Some of the best examples of online shooters that have good lore include Halo, Call of Duty, TF2, and I think Destiny, before they deleted the campaign. I don't know, I don't think I'm qualified to speak on that game. But what I am qualified to speak on is Rainbow Six Siege, and the complete nosedive its story took many years ago. Some games have lore that's so good they are renowned for it. Rainbow Six Siege is not one of those games. If you were to ask the average Siege player what was happening in the game's story right now, they'd probably say that zombies are besieging Ba Sing Se or something. Most players are too distracted with the amazing gameplay to care about the game's current story. And I don't blame them. I love this game. I play it more than I use my phone. What is my rank? Let's just say it rhymes with Whopper T. Most players are too distracted with Siege's gameplay to care about its story. But if they were to take a peek into the lore that the Rainbow writers have created, they would find out that they have been missing out on some of the most dumb and convoluted writing I have ever seen. This stuff is worse than my aim. To understand the start of Rainbow Six Siege's lore, it's helpful to know about the overall franchise's history. The first Rainbow Six title came out in 1998 based on the novel written by Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy was an author known for his technically detailed and suspenseful military books, and the first Rainbow game was made to coincide release with its book, with Rainbow's novel and the game being released during the same month. So from the start, serious and tactical themes were written into this franchise's DNA, and for a while the game stayed that way, with each sequel that came out maintaining the gritty atmosphere the original had established. Themes of secrecy, high stakes, and advanced tactics were stapled to the games, and when Rainbow Six Siege was announced, it seemed bent on maintaining that identity, with its trailer impressing fans with what looked like to be another modern and realistic take on the FPS genre. And for a while, that was what we got. However, it didn't stay that way. When I first loaded up Rainbow onto my Xbox, I was already hyped. I had heard about the game's serious reputation, I knew that the characters all wore subtle and practical uniforms. The energy of the game both online and off was said to be nerve-wracking, and the opening cinematic confirmed my assumptions with a grave message. Aurelia Arnott, a United States official, was addressing the game's threat. A group by the name of the White Masks had started to release dangerous gas in public places. According to Aurelia, this group could show up anywhere in the world and were indiscriminate about who they targeted, and Rainbow, an international counter-scarerist group, would now be reactivated to stop them. This was the story that Rainbow debuted with on launch. The White Masks were Siege's first antagonist. They were a very realistic and terrifying threat, and the mysterious lore surrounding them fit the franchise's brand perfectly. A faceless group that was using modern tactics to cause as much fear and destruction as possible, with Aurelia stating that the group was both physically and psychologically dangerous. They didn't have any flair or standout characteristics, besides being serious about effectively carrying out their missions. And this was an amazing choice because it worked perfectly with the gameplay. You see, when Siege first launched, it debuted with several PvE missions called situations. While these were removed presumably to cut server costs, they were once a big deal for a lot of players, mostly due to how much of a thrill it was to play against the lore-accurate White Masks. On the player side, Siege's gameplay was already much more measured than other shooters. You had to plan where you would deploy and were encouraged to move at a calculated pace. Combine this with any sort of enemy and you would have a game feel that is already intense. But the amazing part was that the mysterious and intimidating lore surrounding Rainbow's enemies was reflected in their behavior. The White Masks acted just as ruthless as they had been hyped up to be, using all sorts of heartless tactics to stop you. They would throw stun grenades, gather up in groups to more effectively hunt you down, charge you with human creepers, or just stay stationary waiting for you to turn around the corner. You could hear them communicating and breathing heavily the moment before they snuck up on you, and of course their most evil tactic would be to use human bait as well as their other signature threats. This was a great experience because the lore and gameplay were intertwined perfectly, just as they always should be. It was extremely scary to face the White Masks, and oftentimes the only way to outsmart them was through communicating with your teammates and using clever tactics. On the multiplayer side, you could assume that every game you went into was practice against them. That was the basic lore, keeping everything tied together and immersive. And you could argue that being immersed in such a high-stakes scenario caused players to be more enthusiastic about engaging with the game the way it was intended. What I mean by that is more strategic and communicative gameplay, and less running into the site like they're the main character. We see a lot of that today in Copper, where I may or may not live. Because the game respected itself, the community was at least encouraged to respect it too. But as the story started to conclude, the White Masks eventually got tired of being dunked on by Rainbow and planned one final attack. Titled Article 5, it was the last scenario of the PvE category, and the developers had made quite an impressive finale. The entire map was contaminated with gas, and as a player, your HUD represented a hazmat suit. It was a truly unique scenario. This would be the last hurrah for Rainbow's initial PvE experience, both gameplay and lore-wise, as the game would quickly take a much different direction. But not knowing this, many players were excited to see what kind of scenarios like this would come next. Unfortunately, we'd never get something like this campaign again. It's difficult to explain what exactly happened to the lore's direction after this. At first, the game's writers seemed to be taking a well-earned break, with the lore put on pause as developers focused on adding more operators. Several major updates were added to the game, building on its map and gameplay pool, specifically 8 of which were added before the game's lore was expanded outside of just introducing new characters. The 9th major update, Operation Chimera, would be the first to change things up, bringing with it the fan-favorite Outbreak event that brought new PvE gameplay. This provided additional lore to the game, albeit against a much less realistic threat. First of all, none of Outbreak is considered canon to the main game. It actually takes place in an alternate timeline, and none of it builds on the real world's lore. Second, going from a serious, the Batman Riddler type threat to mutated alien zombies is quite the jump. Nothing like this had ever been done in the Rainbow franchise's games or novels, and it was quite the experimental decision. But despite it being less traditional, I can say that this was a solid addition to Siege, both gameplay and lore-wise. The story was handled quite well, as it brought back Aurelia into the story, with Ash having to call her up to once again authorize Rainbow, as they were not allowed to enter the scene without clearance, keeping things surprisingly in line with the game's inspiration. As Tom Clancy once described it, the core idea of his books were operators who were highly skilled, disciplined, honest, thoroughly professional, and only lost their cool when incompetent politicians or bureaucrats got in their way. And Ash having to get permission from the government to approach a new threat very much maintains Clancy and the Rainbow franchise's original vision. From a gameplay perspective, it was also popular enough to get a spin-off game developed, releasing much later in the future. However, no matter how you feel about the Outbreak event, it was only a limited time event, and wasn't meant to stay around for long anyways. However, once it was over, things dramatically and horribly changed for the worst, because from here on out, the lore is about to go from consistent to having a complete identity crisis. It is said that around 2020, the White Masks were defeated once and for all. Although a few of them were said to still be scattered across the world, their organization in the lore was considered dissolved. And with their story over, this is where the lore would go into a renaissance. A bad renaissance. It was said that having neutralized the White Masks, Aurelia moved on to be promoted to Secretary of State. And with this came a huge transfer of leadership as she handed over Rainbow to her colleague Harry. Now, if there's any way I can describe Harry, it's that he represented the new direction of Siege. And by that I mean, he was responsible for everything that went horribly wrong. The first thing he did was completely turn the program on its head by creating a concept for a massive sports arena, a location where the program would now mostly take place. Inside of this arena, the operators were now treated like celebrities, as the arena had been filled with thousands of fans? This was not just an arena for training, but was apparently also meant to entertain the masses, which is an interesting combination for such a confidential society to have. The operators were tasked with living in and fighting against each other in the arena, where they used BB guns and sim suits to play for points on a scoreboard, with a commentator included to hype up the fans.
Operators, this is match point. Only one defender remaining. 3 attackers remaining.
They were also interviewed and had talking heads like The Office, and the shift in tone had taken a complete 180.
Gustave Kateb, GIGN, National Gendarmerie Intervention.
Get out.
Do I look at you or the camera?
Mike Baker, Specialized Service.
Seamus Calgan, Sanitation.
So why would Rainbow, a covert organization that uses cutting-edge technology and secret national techniques, do this? Why would they go from focusing on a realistic threat to playing Airsoft Olympics? There is not a good explanation. It was bad writing done to cash in on esports. Here is the reasoning for the dramatic shift according to the lore. Harry had moved Rainbow to this stadium, one, so that Rainbow could train for a wider range of real-world scenarios, you know, by making them train in a paintball stadium, and 2, unite them as a team by also having them live together in it, and basically always work together in teams. This story direction doesn't work, and his plan fails horribly on both of these goals, and he dies. But that's not really Harry's fault as much as it is the right.
Wait, is that the actual fucking lore of Rainbow Six? Do they actually live there? I thought that was just like a one-time event to like show off their skills and stuff.
Think of Harry as like a scapegoat for the direction that Ubisoft wanted to move Rainbow towards. He's basically like a self-insert for the writers trying to put themselves inside the story so they can directly change what Siege is about. So what are the real developers' reasons for doing this? According to narrative director Alex Lima, the decision to phase out Siege's counter-scarist narrative was so that they could pursue a more comprehensive and scalable story. Apparently making the game's lore revolve around Call of Duty Olympics achieves this. When it comes to making the story more comprehensive, I don't know about you, but soldiers fighting against real-world threats is a lot easier to grasp than soldiers competing in stadiums for points with live spectators. The whole thing feels impractical and like the writers don't know which world this story takes place in. Why are there people watching this? Aren't all these operations using highly confidential technology? Don't they have identities to protect? Isn't this a bit of a risk? All right, everybody, I'm glad all of our best agents and 50,000 people could be here. This is gonna be a fun one. I packed some extra orange slices. Okay. The lore might be a little bit out there, but at least it accomplished its goal of being scalable. Rainbow is clearly just laying down the foundation for a story that will be built on for the rest of the game's lifespan. They wouldn't just go out with such a dramatic system if it wasn't scalable like they wanted it to be. As it turns out, it was not scalable, because just recently the writers killed off its mascot. So no more Wipeout, everybody. Sorry. How did this happen? How did we lose the Steve Jobs of gaming? Well, I'm happy to say it's a hilariously convoluted series of events. I'm talking Marvel's Civil War levels of buildup, because the guy who did this is exactly like Baron Zemo. After starting their new program, Harry decided to hire Nighthaven, a similar organization to Rainbow, except for the fact that it uses more ruthless and risky tactics. Nighthaven and Rainbow actually have a lot of inherent conflicting worldviews. They do not like each other, and they do not do things the same. It's basically a ripoff of Talon from Overwatch. During their first tournament, because Rainbow does annual tournaments now, Ash, the leader of Rainbow, and Callie, the leader of Nighthaven, get put on the same team by Harry, because he knows that they don't like each other, so this should help. What a great idea, Harry. I hope this doesn't cause a butterfly effect that ironically leads to your own end. During a particularly critical round, Callie decides to use Ash and Dokkaebi as bait to secure the W. She also skids a shot through Ash's face, which is kind of concerning because why isn't Ash wearing a helmet if the supposed BB bullets can do this? What if someone accidentally hits a headshot on her? That seems like an incredible health and safety risk. After that kerfuffle, Ash is upset because of what Callie did, and she's brooding about it in the bathroom when she hears Callie lecturing the other operators about how in this line of work, you can't be worried about safety. And sometimes, you gotta bend the rules to secure the win. And Ash gets so mad that she storms into the other room and starts telling Callie off. She tells her that she doesn't know how they do it in Nighthaven, but here at Rainbow, you can't use people as bait. Callie tells her that it's just a game, which it is, and Ash punches her. The room then proceeded to break out into chaos as the operators split up into two sides of the room, literally picking sides. And by the next cinematic, Nighthaven decides to leave Rainbow, an incredibly short run. It's almost like they were only here so the Rainbow writers could use them to cook up conflict. So as you can see, the game's writers are really going heavy on the internal beef angle. They're basically just stirring up drama out of nowhere. Even Ella and Zofia, who for a long time coexisted as sisters, started to get more hostile towards each other with the arena being fuel for their rivalry. They basically get retconned into always having hated each other, and Ella leaves Zofia behind to join Nighthaven along with a bunch of other operators. Then Callie lectures Ella about how she made the right choice. Great job, Harry. This arena has really done its job of bringing everybody together. You have really done some good team building. A true peacemaker. This sort of Civil War narrative has actually been done in quite a few other games before. Overwatch has always had a lot of this in its lore with the heroes not getting along. Apex Legends had some beef, and I think Valorant too maybe. You can tell that they also moved the operators into the stadium so that they could have a good environment for these arguments. Because if they were still mostly focused on actually stopping criminals, there wouldn't be any time for these petty differences. But now because they're inside a safe environment, everyone can have fights without compromising any missions, which makes the Olympics direction even more ridiculous. But things get much worse. The introduction for Azami, a new operator, follows these events. And in her animated short, we get the lore that her boss, and I guess dear friend, was murked in front of her eyes. And she visits her friend Hibana, who is still on Rainbow's side by this point, to show her that the bullets used were labeled Nighthaven property. So rather than jump to conclusions, the Rainbow folks track down the mercenaries who killed Azami's boss to see if they can figure out who ordered them. But it turns out the mercenaries were bait, and a helicopter starts shooting at all the Rainbow operators. And they're all like, oh man, I'm pretty sure this is the work of Nighthaven. We haven't gotten any more evidence since that bullet, but if this is Nighthaven, we're mad, so it might as well be Nighthaven. And so they decide to fully jump to conclusions by deciding to infiltrate Nighthaven's HQ. But when Nock does a sloppy job escaping, Nighthaven finds out she was poking around their base and tracks her down. Nock was tracked down. The invisible stealth operator, the one whose only ability in Siege is being invisible on cameras, was caught on camera and then tracked down by bees. And so Grim from Nighthaven pays a visit to her and threatens her, and that's actually all the retaliation that happens. Like, you thought this would launch a big conflict, but no, he just tells her, like, don't do it again or I'll come for you. And that's it. Rainbow just decides that it probably wasn't Nighthaven after all. Then Rainbow decides to go to Nighthaven again, but this time just to tell them to stay out of their business and give Solus a cool moment to shine. And then they realize both of their gear has been stolen this entire time because someone else has apparently been messing with both teams. So all of their conflict was pointless. This is horrible. But literally none of it matters because it turns out it was all a guy named Deimos. He had orchestrated everything all along. This guy then visits Harry, tries and fails to take out Rainbow operatives in front of him, and then tells Harry that old Rainbow was better and shoots him. Deimos is basically the Siege's community personified.
You know, Rainbow used to be feared in my time. A covert unit of Apex killers, and you turned it into the escapades.
Everybody then tracks Deimos down and captures him. So that is the lore with a lot of filler cut out, because as you can see, there's already just so much nonsense in it. They were clearly just making pointless storylines to draw out the lore, so they wouldn't have to worry about actually doing anything that had a big impact on the game. But the worst part is how the lore is not compatible with the game itself. First of all, if Nighthaven and Rainbow never really got along, how come they trained together in-game? You could explain this by saying that the game takes place at a time when the two forces were briefly in harmony, before or after their conflict. But that doesn't explain Deimos being a playable character. We haven't got a lot of information about Deimos' plan. All that we know is that he thinks Rainbow is too soft and wants to kill all the operators. But now he plays alongside them in their games, whether it's in the Wipeout Stadium or anywhere else. He trains with his worst enemies. In his introduction video, the devs were like, yes, Deimos hates Rainbow, but he's not really a part of the team, guys. He's just agreeing to practice with them forever. Mocks Rainbow for being basically Airsoft. Becomes part of the Airsoft team. Oh, the irony.
Right.
As you can see, the developers' decision to change Siege's narrative led to more problems than it solved. The lore was poorly strategized, as it led to the developers having trouble explaining why it doesn't line up with gameplay, and the pacing itself was also super disjointed, and it feels like it took years for anything to happen. The stadium basically acted as an environment for these silly stories to play out, and then couldn't be scaled anymore and was scrapped. Had Rainbow continued in its original direction, not only would it have been more coherent, but the stakes would be higher and fans would be more engaged. There are plenty of directions you could go with real-world antagonists that would have actually lifted gameplay up too. A new group of scarers that target tech could make levels where you can't use anything electric, and more levels like Article 5 would challenge players in new and interesting ways. The writers could also have those same dramatic emotions they wanted to stir up with Nighthaven, but in a much more engaging way to audiences. Just make it so Ash is brooding because the new opposition is causing her to doubt Rainbow's capabilities. Something like that would not only be more interesting, but it would also tie in with the game, raising the stakes around the organization instead of making it a recreational Nerf club. Lore and story are a critical part of a community's engagement with a game, and fans have been begging to return to Siege's more serious narrative ever since it was abandoned. The problem is, going back to a more serious threat would mean that Ubisoft would have to spend resources on making more single-player gameplay. We don't want to do that, dude. That would take money. We're more interested in appealing to esports, and cutting costs by removing all traces of PvE gameplay while we're at it. Although ask any esports player what they think of Stadium, and they'll probably tell you it's their least favorite map. It's not even in the ranked map pool. I really don't have any high expectations for this game's story, because clearly the narrative department of Siege has no idea what they're doing. Of course, in a game like Rainbow, lore is not the final say in a game's success at all. This game is doing very well, and it clearly didn't need its half-baked world building to do so. But judging it strictly from a writing perspective, this game's lore and overall story is a failure. It's not well written or interesting, and worst of all, it doesn't stay true to the game itself. I have no idea where the story is going to go from here. I'm predicting Deimos will escape from Rainbow and just wreak havoc for 3 years while still being a playable character in game. They're gonna probably chase him around for 2 years before making him take over Nighthaven or something. If you like this video, make sure to plant the diffuser on the like button or team kill it. I don't care. Just interact with it. Thanks for watching. I'm Lufa.
That's pretty good. Alright, that's gonna do it for me, failures. Alright. Bye.